Hi, everyone. My name is Ron Bautista. I'm the president of Progressive Democrats of Hudson County. And today we're going to have a conversation with a candidate for county committee for the Democratic Party in Jersey City Heights. But before we start, I just want to be inclusive, give some some housekeeping rules. I'm going to start by describing myself. So I'm wearing a striped shirt with red, blue colors, and I have short hair, although I need to go to the barbershop sometime soon. Black hair, short facial hair, beard, and clear glasses, and thick eyebrows. Today we have Josh Iannuzzi, and he has been a resident of Jersey City for the past 10 years, and during this time, he has dedicated his professional career to local workforce development. As a director of career services at the New Jersey City University School of Business, Josh helps to prepare and connect local students to internships, employment, and professional development opportunities as well. He led a similar effort with formerly incarcerated populations at the Jersey City Employment and Training Program. And Josh also serves as on the executive board of Jersey City Ties, an organization that helps to connect local professionals to volunteering and networking opportunities. He also has worked with the Jersey City chapter of Rescuing Leftover Cuisine, and he served as a mentor through Big Brother Big Sisters of Hudson County. Josh seeks to advocate for and represent the constituents of his Hilltop neighborhood on the Democratic County Committee in Ward C, District 25, and he's eager to continue engaging the public to become active participants in our democracy, not only now during election time, but year-round. So, Josh, welcome.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for having me.
So, start by describing yourself.
Sure. So, I'm here. I have a gray polo type of shirt, not polo brand, but collared shirt on. My hair definitely needs to be cut, but it's on the shorter end. I have, dark black hair, some short facial hair as well. And there's a poster of President Obama behind me.
Right on brand. So tell us a bit about yourself, your family, school, and it could be school in terms of anything. It could be where you went to school. It could be where you're actually working at. Tell us about, we want to know more about you.
Sure. So I'll start at the beginning. I was born and raised in Essex County, New Jersey. Grew up in Verona, again, in Essex County. I'm a middle child. I went to Marist College for my undergraduate, studied communications and public relations. Out of school, I took a job with a beverage company doing marketing. I got to travel the country. It was a great gig, but not something that really fulfilled me. And on weekends, I started volunteering with the Obama campaign during the primaries. I started to do that more and more and realized that was something that I enjoyed doing. And after a few months, I resigned from my corporate, marketing position, and I took on a fellowship position with the Obama campaign. And that was just an amazing opportunity for a lot of different reasons. The first being it really introduced me to my career and really to a career of service, serving the public, but also directly to my career today, which is in workforce development through the Obama Alumni Association Network. I connected to an organization to help transition individuals on public assistance into gainful employment. And so that was my start in workforce development. And as you had mentioned, I did similar work with the Jersey City Employment and Training Program, working with reentry populations. And now currently I do that over at the NJCU School of Business, helping to connect and prepare students for internships, employment, professional development type of opportunities. And that's my passion. I think, everybody deserves, gainful employment. And so I love what I do because, it's powerful work. It changes not only, one life, but an entire, family and a community. And it can really, change, especially working with, the populations in Jersey City. We have such a diverse student population and so many first generation college students. It's powerful, the work that we get to do day in, day out. And so, beyond that, you mentioned I've lived in Jersey City for close to 10 years. My wife and I, we moved up to the Hilltop about 3 years ago, which is the current district that I'm looking to represent with my running mate, Victoria Marino. We have a 2-year-old son, and who is the joy of our life, and has made the last year and a half, which has been difficult, a lot more enjoyable, and he's helped to put a smile on our face during some tough times. We also have 2 dogs, 2 crazy dogs that we've adopted locally from a nonprofit, A Call for Paws. Beyond that, I'm a huge Yankees fan, a baseball fan in general. But I also, I like to give back to the community. I kind of mentioned that before. You mentioned that with Jersey City Ties. I also volunteer with an organization that helps to deliver food from restaurants to some of the local shelters. So yeah,
that's awesome, and I think that that's exactly what we need, right? Is people to be involved with the communities where they live at, and now that you're running for office for the Democratic Committee, I think it's a way to kind of do a little bit of both, right? Is continue to do that community work while still being able to represent, and activate your neighbors in the issues that matter to them. And it's exciting because you work at NJCU. I graduated from NJCU. I got my bachelor's degree from there. I actually also got my associates from Hudson County Community College. And I'm also a marketer, so there you go. There's a lot of connections there with you and myself. Tell us about a bit about your district. Give us some reference points of
sure.
What do you see when you walk around?
That
people can connect with, because there's a lot of districts and a lot of people who need to know a bit more about what that map looks like.
Sure. So the biggest landmark, to give everybody a point of reference, would be Dickinson High School is across the street. So we're adjacent. Our district 25 is adjacent to Dickinson High School on the other side of Newark Avenue. You could also say that we're above on the top part of the hill of the Harrismith Cemetery. So you can pretty much square off like from Newark Ave between Chestnut and Waldo, and then it wraps around the island. And where there's an overpass and a bridge that crosses over the pass station, and then that wraps around. And then I'm trying to think the wraparound street, I believe, is I'm going to butcher the wraparound street, but basically it's Newark, Chestnut, Waldo, and that is District 25. It's a portion of the Hilltop, so it's not the entire Hilltop community. There are beautiful trees lining the streets. It's quiet. There are streets you can walk down and you would not know that you're in the second largest city in New Jersey. Some of the other streets include Pavonia, Magnolia, Henry, Baldwin, and Allen. But it's a beautiful neighborhood. We have a garden as well, the Waldo Community Garden. That's us in a nutshell.
And now you've been talking to neighbors for a while now. Even I'm guessing even before the election. What are some of the concerns from the neighbors that you've spoken to? Some of the issues that they're passionate about?
Yeah. So oddly enough, my running mate Victoria Marino and myself, we've learned that most of the issues and the concerns all like start with the letter P. So it kind of really makes it easy to kind of recall. But pedestrian safety, is one of those things. A few of the streets, cars speed down and could use a speed bump. There are potholes on a few of the streets that are wreaking havoc on people's vehicles. Poop on the sidewalk, people not picking up after their dogs. Lack of parking. I think you see that kind of citywide. I don't think it's actually as bad as a lot of other parts of the city, but it's definitely a concern. And as the larger buildings start to go up, parking starts to go down, unfortunately. You know, I think, you know, those are the primary concerns. You know, obviously, you know, there are some other issues that, you know, folks want to see the garden cleaned up and more organized. So, you know, that would be, I think, important to folks. I think folks are interested in a park, and there will be a park coming in the community, not necessarily in the district, but in the Hilltop area. But we're still a few years away from that. And then something else I've heard, you know, anecdotally, but agree with, is also kind of being in somewhat of a food desert, or you know, there are no real supermarkets or grocery stores or even bodegas that carry enough produce. So, you know, I think those are some of the main concerns. But then on the larger scale, you know, there are issues with the line. There are issues, you know, with the ICE contract. Again, those things are important to myself, and I would imagine to those individuals who are really paying attention. I think the previous issues are more kind of day-to-day things that, you know, everybody, you know, for the most part, kind of can notice, you know, after living here for a short while.
And maybe there's a connection with that and why you're running for a county committee as well, right? I think it's something that you and did you think about it before? What really made you think about running?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've, as I mentioned, I worked on the Obama campaign. I volunteered on that was in 2008, but then I volunteered, you know, the following election, you know, for his next term. You know, most recently I was based out at Penn State organizing the college vote, the youth vote out in Pennsylvania for the most recent presidential election. So, you know, knocking on doors, canvassing, you know, phone banking, it's you know, it's not new to me. It's something, you know, I enjoy doing it. I get energy from it. It's empowering. I think, you know, the ability and the power to vote is precious. And so, you know, I like to promote that when I can, and candidates that, you know, I believe in. But no, I never really saw myself kind of running and my name being kind of on the ticket, just because, you know, I tend to try to be more of a behind the scenes player, you know, in making connections and networking and so on. But you know, I put my hat in the ring, and the same with my my running mate, because honestly, you know, the community deserves an advocate. You know, I think if individuals are going to kind of put their name on a ballot, they have to be willing to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I feel like the community has lacked that. I have neighbors who have lived in the Hilltop for 40 plus years and never knew that they had a county committee person, didn't know the position even existed. So that tells me something. And so honestly, I think that's just, it's a disservice to the community. And I think the community deserves an advocate. I know that, you know, city government, especially as large as Jersey City, can be daunting, you know, and there's a lot of bureaucracy and red tape that needs to be cut through, even just to get a simple answer to a question. I have a neighbor who's concerned about a tree that's going to be coming down in the retaining wall. And, you know, she doesn't even know where to start, you know, and so individuals like that need help, need, you know, to be pointed in the right direction. In some cases, you know, need somebody to help make the phone call for them or ask the question. So that's the type of work, you know, I'm interested in doing, and Victoria and I are looking to do on behalf of our community. You know, I mentioned before the pedestrian safety. You know, for years, the community had been trying to organize for a speed bump. They got the petitions signed, they circulated them, they turned them in. I think they did everything the right way, but unfortunately, I don't think they had an advocate, you know, championing their cause and really pushing that along. And, you know, there's still no speed bump, and there are more and more kids, you know, being born and growing up in the neighborhood. And it's a concern for our neighbors, and rightfully so. So, you know, I think with the right folks, you know, in office, you know, in this position, they can help to push these issues along and make the community even better.
Yeah, no, and I think, and I'm really thankful that you're running and that Tori is running, and also that we're running as a block, right? As a group of people and not individually, because that also helps us with that networking, right? So, I've been a pedestrian safety advocate for a while now. I know that there's a lot of advocates in Jersey City as well. And the more that we know each other, then we can, kind of lean in together and just push for those pedestrian safety issues and other issues. I had a neighbor he's not even in my district, but because I ran for office before, he just messaged me. He's like, "Hey, so there are high winds today, and this tree right outside my balcony is like this huge branch is about to collapse. Who do we call?" And so I was able, because of my runs and because I've been active in the community, I knew who to contact. And then the fire department, when they're like 15 minutes after that text message, and they were able to take it down.
Wow.
And so things like that, just being aware of who to be able to reach out to and that pressure, and also not being alone in that process of learning and pushing for this, because the more people that are active across the city, the better it is, the easier it is for us to have our voices heard, and especially if there are people who have voted behind you, so that way it's not just one voice; it's the voice of the neighborhood that's bringing us together.
Sure. No, that's great. That's a great story. In a situation like that could have injured somebody. That could have done some damage to a vehicle, and cost somebody one way or the other. So yeah, I agree. I think the more connected we all are, the safer, the better our neighborhoods are. The better off we are. I think, a pleasant surprise has just been getting to know my neighbors better. I learned that just a block behind me, there's a block party every Thursday. And it's not a true block party where they block it off, but everyone hangs out, on their stoop and the front sidewalks, and the kids play and the parents hang out. And it started over the pandemic. Everyone would go out at 7 p.m. on a Thursday to salute the first responders. And then they just continued on. And so I got to learn about that. And we're actually going to take our 2-year-old over there tonight for the first time to introduce him to some of the local kids. And we're excited, we're excited to get to know folks. Again, regardless of the turnout of the election, it's really important that, communities work together, get to know one another. Nextdoor is a great app, but there's nothing like meeting individuals in person and talking in person and having a phone number that you can reach out to or call or text when there's an issue or a concern. So we're really excited. Something I do want to add is I never really had those political aspirations and still don't have those political aspirations to continue moving on up. So this isn't really a stepping stone for Tori or myself. And really our plan, the way, kind of we're viewing it is we want to take, we obviously want to win. We want to take this position. We want to build it up, build an infrastructure within the community so that in a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, we could pass this along, and we can pass along an organized system to the next folks, the next advocates, who can help to represent the neighborhood. So that's the goal.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think you have a Facebook page, right? That's specifically for the neighborhood?
Yes.
For that district?
Yes, we do. And you know what? I apologize. I have to pull that up right now. I don't have this memorized. I have them on all my flyers.
No worries. But yeah, so things like that, it's the way we build community, right? So when we start having those conversations with each other, I have that in my neighborhood too. Is like I see everybody. They look familiar, but actually to strike that conversation, something like this really pushes you to have those full conversations and actually meet with the people that are in your neighborhood. So this is great. So were you able to find it?
I'm pulling it up now. Bear with me.
No pressure. It's because it's live show. That's why.
Yeah. So it's JC _ Hilltop C25. So that's JC _ HILLTOP C as in Charlie 25. So that's JC _ Hilltop C25.
And that's on Facebook, correct?
Instagram, and I think it's shared. We share the
Instagram. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just put it in the comment, and so that everybody can see it as well. But listen, we're at time, but if you want to share one last thing with the voters, the people who are watching, the supporters, the people who just want to learn more about your run, what would you like to share?
So our Facebook is JC, so it's JC Hilltop, the letter C, and then 25 spelled out. And that's my 2-year-old yelling at his vote. Right? So
yeah,
JC,
okay. That happens to me all the time with my 3-year-old. So.
JC Hilltop C, and then 25 spelled out.
All right, JC Hilltop C, and then 25 spelled out, right?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. I'll include that on the Facebook. But also, again, if you want to, give a last shout out, something you want to make sure that people know before election. Election day is June 8th. So that, but yeah, take it away.
Yeah, everyone just get out and vote. Very often these elections are decided between, a handful of votes because folks don't get out and vote, on and off. In general, people don't vote even when the elections are the stakes are even larger, but, this is an off season type of election, in June. And it's really important that your voices be heard, not only in those big elections, but in these smaller primary elections as well. So get out and vote, feel free to do some research, check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, reach out if you have questions, insight, again, we're looking to connect and learn, and again, pass this on. So if you have interest maybe in the future in participating, we'd be happy to share you in on the process. We also plan on handing off the social media accounts to whoever is successful the next time around if we do go ahead and win. That way it could be something that sticks with the community. But yeah, reach out if you have any questions. Please get out and vote. If you're not in our district, do some research, check out the PDHC website to see who might be able to best represent you. We hope to have your support. And yeah, thanks for the time.
Thank you so much, Josh Iannuzzi. And we'll be looking out for the news from your district and also everything that comes after that.
Grazie mille.
Muchas gracias.
Ciao, ragazzo. All right. Thanks, everybody.